Hi guys, and welcome to a new and maybe two-part, maybe one-part special video. Okay, so I went on Twitter like a few weeks ago and we are on the road to Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Kingdom is about a month away, or maybe by the time this video gets posted, like a few weeks away. And I asked all you beautiful people, would you like a guide to New Japan? Now, for some people, they might go, well, this is literally pointless. I know everything about New Japan. However, there are some people who come and they're very casual watchers of New Japan. And especially if they're used to companies like WWE and AEW, the whole concept, the whole premise of pro wrestling, so Japanese wrestling, can be confusing on the best of days. And New Japan is no different. So I am here with your comprehensive introduction to New Japan. Now, there might be people more knowledgeable than me. I only started properly watching New Japan in 2018. But since then, I have watched it religiously. I think maybe aside from some US shows, there is not a single New Japan show I have missed. Hell, when I was graduating, the day I was graduating, I watched JY main event in the G1. That is the dedication that I have to this company. So I thought, who better to introduce you to everything that happens in New Japan. Now, I'm going to look at a brief history of the company. I've got my notes because, again, I'm not amazing, I'm not a robot. So we'll look at that. We'll look at the divisions within New Japan and the titles, the factions, the tour schedule. I'm having a look and see what I've got here. The tour schedules, how to stream, and also a look at some of the partnerships that New Japan has. So yeah, hopefully this will be interesting. I don't know whether it'll be a one-part video or two-part video, because there is a lot. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it and it'll be useful to you. So we're going to start with the history of New Japan. So New Japan Pro Wrestling, or in Japanese, Shin Nihon Pro Wrestling. Okay, sorry if I butchered that. I don't know why. I'm learning Japanese and it's hard. So if any of you check for the schedules or the results, you'll know that it's New Japan 1972. And that is because, and we celebrated the 50-year anniversary last year, New Japan was created in 1972 by the wrestling legend that is Antonio Inoki. So, a bit of context, everyone knows who Inoki is. Created Inokiism. He is one of the founding fathers. I guess he is the founding father of pro wrestling. Now, back in the day, he left the Japan Pro Wrestling Alliance promotion. Now, you can do your research on that, but you can easily say Japanese wrestling was no way started by New Japan. There were so many companies before doing it, while maybe not on the scale we know now, which has obviously been helped by the internet and globalization and people just being able to access more content. New Japan wasn't the start, so Inoki was doing his thing long before New Japan came. And so he decided to create New Japan after maybe he didn't feel that these companies were what's right for wrestling. So he put... You always complain about Gedo's booking, but Inoki created this company and he put himself at the center of the company as like the top star. So imagine now, I guess you could say, like, maybe a few years ago, if Okada created a promotion and instantly put himself as the top. Now, Inoki wasn't alone. So we've discussed this. A lot of people have discussed this, especially now as we're seeing more foreigners or gaikokujins becoming huge stars and leaving. But this wasn't a new thing. So even back in 1972 when Inoki started, he took a lot of foreign talent and utilized their skills. So we had the British Bulldog, Karl Gotch, Bob Backlund, names that basically, even if you've never watched Japanese wrestling, you will know because they are just generally wrestling legends. And this was sort of, I guess, the maybe basis of New Japan going for these like foreign talent and using them to help enhance their own talent. And their championships belts were actually, it was the main source of the talent at the time. So in 1983, now like I said, I'm reading this because I have my notes and I'm not regretting it. So in 1983, Inoki actually decided to move away from this route of having like belts from like the people that he brings in being like the main source. So fast forward 10 years and he created I always forget this. So it's the International Wrestling Grand Prix. And that, as you guess, stands for IWGP, which is the core of New Japan now. We have the IWGP Heavyweight title, the IWGP Junior titles, the IWGP United States Championship. And at the start, it was a yearly tournament. I guess you could compare it to the G1. And it was a yearly tournament to crown the best wrestler in the world. Now, this had a list of legends who won it. So, along with Antonio Inoki, we had Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, just to name a few. So, like I said, back in the early years of New Japan, they were still getting some of the biggest names in pro wrestling from across the world and helped to build on their name. Now, in 1987, after the success of the tournament, so they'd been going on for 4 years, if my maths is right, he decided to, rather than just keep having this annual tournament, he decided to crown a winner, and that winner would have a title. And that was how the IWGP Heavyweight title was born. Now, bear in mind, that is different to today's title. I'll discuss that when we look at titles, literally next. But that title that was formed was the IWGP Heavyweight title. And I guess fast forward to 2023, New Japan is still as strong as ever. We've had low points, we've had high points. You've heard of the dark ages of New Japan in the early 2000s. Similarly, people have said the pandemic years were the low points compared to the height of New Japan we saw in the early 2010s. Then again in like 2018, 2019, maybe earlier, 2017 to 2019. But really, that is just the root of pro wrestling. There are always going to be ups and downs depending on the climate. With New Japan, it goes in waves, not just internationally, but you've got to remember that a lot of New Japan is catered for the Japanese fans. They are the ones who, while we're watching it at home, which you can find out how to stream later, it is the Japanese fans buying tickets and going in to watch it. So yeah, New Japan is 51 years old and still as strong as ever. Albeit there are phases in the New Japan history which is like a roller coaster, but that happens with everything. Now we are on to the divisions. So I guess other companies have divisions in the sense like back in the day when I started watching wrestling, WWE had like the normal roster and then you had 205 Live. The divisions are much stricter here in New Japan. So I'm going to start with the division that always holds a special place in my heart, and that is the Junior Heavyweight division. Now, this is a much smaller division compared to the big roster. It is for wrestlers who are 100 kilograms or less. So at the moment in this division, you have guys like the IWGP Junior Champion Hiromu Takahashi, the IWGP Junior Tag Champion, so War Dogs, so that is Dan Maloney and Clark Connors. So those are the two main titles. You also have other guys, so you have veterans. Ryusuke Taguchi, El Desperado, you've got rising guys, Master Wato. There are so many Japanese and international junior heavyweights who all come together. Now, I'll speak about this later, but they have two tournaments and where they bring together the best. Now, like I said, the junior division is much smaller because it is much more specific. It is much more picky with its requirements. So whereas the heavyweight division, while it's called a heavyweight, you can literally be any weight. You can choose to be a smaller guy and join the heavyweight division. The juniors, there is that strict cutoff. Now, being said, we have had some moments where we have doubted this. Shingo Takagi, Alex Zane, guys like that who are now in the heavyweight division, they started in the juniors, and even then we were doubting whether they were under that 100 kilogram weight limit due to their big size. In the past, especially if you're an international fan and you started New Japan with the likes of Ricochet and Ospreay, they used to be known as the Flippy Dippy division. You see junior heavyweights and you assume they are flying, they are doing high risk. But one of the best things about the New Japan Junior division is the diversity. So yeah, we have the high-flying guys. Some of the young lions, so Fujita, Hiromu Takahashi is very high risk, very crazy. Some of the guys from CMLL who come, typical juniors. But on the other spectrum, you have the more submission guys. So Yoshinobu Kanemaru, El Desperado, Robbie Eagles, TJP. And then guys in the middle like Master Wato, who will, yes, are very athletic and sometimes go high flying, but will also make use of power, in sense of Master Wato, but also techers, the submission skills, especially, and I'm going to highlight Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Robbie Eagles and TJP, 3 veterans in New Japan, all got probably some of the strongest ground-based offense you will see, and they are juniors, and they really emphasize this. And that is what I love about the junior division, and what I think makes it stand out, because of their diversity. They have so many ages, so you've got the young lions to the veterans to the mainstays, between the ages of the early 20s to the late 40s, and they're all talented in their own ways. So yeah, that is the junior division, 100 kilograms or less. Then we have the heavyweight division. Again, makes up the majority of the New Japan roster and a lot of the people who come in. Like I said, the junior division is 100 kilograms or less, but you don't have to be over 100 kilograms to be in the heavyweight division. It is just more of the bigger guys who are more based on their strength. But for example, you have guys like Kenta, Zack Sabre Jr., ELP. I think ELP, because ELP was a junior, who could very much be in the junior division but choose to do the heavyweight. Now here we have a lot more variety of titles. So in the past there was a lot more, but it's cut down. So we have the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Now this is different to the one created by Inoki in 1983. Before he decided to leave, Kota Ibushi thought it would be interesting to combine the Heavyweight Championship with the old Intercontinental title to create the World Heavyweight Championship. Again, it's not as beautiful as the old title, but yeah, it has a new lineage now, and it is currently held by Sanada. Really good champion, albeit people have had mixed reviews, but it is the top belt in New Japan. It is the one that everyone wants. We then have the United States Championship, the UK Championship. By this time this comes out, it will still be that, but Will Ospreay holds that. That is the secondary title. That was created in 2017 or 18, and it was won by a tournament. The first inaugural winner was Kenny Omega, and that is, I guess, again, it doesn't say it's a heavyweight, so technically a junior could go for it, but all of the winners have been heavyweights. And at the moment, ahead of the feud, so it is Ospreay, Moxley and Finlay at Wrestle Kingdom. That is for the US title. However, Finlay broke it, so I think we're going to get a new title coming. But again, a really good belt, really beautiful, very heavy. I held it when I met Jay White, and when I met Jay White, I also held the new heavyweight title. The US title is extremely heavy, but it is stunning. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from there. And we also then have like in the junior division, we have the IWGP Tag Championships. Again, says heavyweights. There've never been any guys who are like cancelled as juniors doing it, but people like Zack have held them, who he's obviously under the weight limit. At the moment, it's held by Chaos's Bishamon. And yeah, phenomenal belt. It has had a tumultuous journey. There have been times where it seems like Gedo hasn't really taken any pride in it. But when you put it on the right champion, so in the past we've had amazing champs like GOD, so Tamatonga and Tangaloa, Dangerous Techers, so Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi, Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith Jr., now Bishamon, Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. And we had Aussie Open. When the belts are in the right hand, it's a very strong division and puts on some very good matches. So yeah, those are the two main divisions. However, it is New Japan, and as people like to point out, there are too many belts, and that is linked to the number of divisions we've got. The next one we've got is the Never division. Now, this was first created as it was meant to be a division for the young lions, for the up and coming. Never basically means it's an open weight category, so you can wrestle in it no matter whether you're on the lightest of the juniors or the heaviest of the heavyweights. Now, since then, it has lost that meaning of never being the upcoming stars and is now known for its hard-hitting style. Now, this has 2 championships. The Never Openweight Singles title. So again, anyone can wrestle for it. For a long time, it was mainly heavyweight. But guys like Will Ospreay came and sort of cemented the openweight nature of it. But to this day, and with the title holder Shingo Takagi, it is much more known for its hard-hitting matches. You have the big guys always going for this. So Shingo, Ishii, Hanare, Taichi, guys like that, who are known for the heavy hitting and maybe not, I don't want to say not trusted, that's wrong, who have not been picked to be on the top card. And then you have the Never 6-man titles. Again, open weight. You can have a mix of juniors and heavyweights in it. So this is 3 men are champions and they will wrestle different factions. The current champions, and unanimously the best we've had, is the shocking team of the Aces, Kazuchika Okada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Tomohiro Ishii. Now, for anyone who follows New Japan, they will know that Never has almost been known as like the dog shit on the shoe of New Japan. Sometimes it is forgotten about, sometimes it is not taken seriously, mainly because it is a title, well, both that are known for hot potatoing. However, at this moment, it seems hot. We've got Shingo holding the Never title, something he has always held very dear to himself, as he, even as a junior, thought of himself more as open weight. And with 3 of the top stars holding the Never title, we've had some of the best defenses against global stars. So hopefully Never can continue, because that, I guess, is the mid-card division and has so much potential. We then have the Strong division. Now, this was created in the midst of the pandemic when wrestlers couldn't come over, and it was created in America for the New Japan Strong shows. Now we don't have those, but they are they're the main titles on American shows, and we have 3. So you have the Strong Women's Championship, which is currently held by Julia. You've got the Strong Openweight title, so again, like Never, openweight nature, and that is held by Eddie Kingston. And then the Strong Tag titles, which is currently held by Hikuleo and El Fantasma. Now, in the past, like Never, Strong was very much pushed to the back of the mind. It was just something to keep the wrestlers in America occupied while they were not allowed to travel. Now it has become a much bigger mainstay. All the champions are doing a phenomenal job, so yeah, it's very good. We then have the IWGP Women's title. Now this is an odd one because, you know, New Japan is a male company, not due to sexism. Wipe that off your mind. Japan is so good in the sense that they know their female talent is good enough, so they have their own promotions. Now this one is mainly linked to Stardom, and the current holder is Mayu Iwatani. Now, people have had their grievances about her title reign, but yeah, this title is mainly done, I think, in Stardom shows. So yeah, that is that. And then we have 2 others. So the King of Pro Wrestling title, again, was created around the pandemic era by Okada. Basically, the matches are done on stipulations. And what it basically is that no one is actually the King of Pro Wrestling champion until the end of the year. You are the provisional champion, and the champion and the challenger will offer stipulations and people will vote on them. You've had the utterly bizarre, mainly by Toru Yano. You've had the hard-hitting ones when guys like Shingo and Taichi have fought over it. Taichi is the current champion. And on the last defense of the year, that is the person who is that year's King of Pro Wrestling champion. It's weird, and at the start it was definitely a joke title, but it's much better now. And one of my favourite titles, which shocked people this year, the New Japan World Television title. Is that it? Or just the New Japan World title? It is currently held by Zack Sabre Jr., who is the first and only champion and the most winningest champion in New Japan. This title is very different because unlike any of the other matches or the titles, this has a very strict time limit. This is a 15-minute match. If there is no winner at the end, the champion retains. So it's really nice because it picks up the pace of title matches, which can sometimes become quite boring. So yeah, Zack has fought everyone and anyone. He has gone to different companies. He's fought the youngest of New Japan's roster, some of the older New Japan roster. And honestly, it is probably my favourite title. The belt might not be the prettiest, but it is great. And I think this is where we end it, because I think we've gone about 20 minutes. So we're going to leave it until the next video. So far we've talked about the history and the divisions. Now, I think I use most of this for the division talk, and that is because there is so much detail in New Japan that is very different from Western companies. So hopefully you got your head around it. And in the next video, we will talk about the factions, the tours, and how you can watch it. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit like, share it, and hit subscribe. You can follow me on social media at wrestling_chat. Because remember, Wrestle Kingdom is around the corner and I will be full of content. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the first part of my introduction video, and I will see you for part 2 very soon. Bye!